A beautiful Sunday morning with everyone. Um, First of all, I would like to congratulate on considering to pursue STEM or pursuing STEM right now. It's such a pivotal role and it holds promise for the next generation of jobs. Now, I do think I'm fitting to talk about this, and I'll tell you why. I'll take you back to a little bit of my background. So I work for the U.S. Department of State, and I'm an economic advisor, and I specifically focus on technology, semiconductors, AI, advanced telecoms, 5G, 6G, ORAN. These are my specializations, and so my work involves speaking to government of India about how are we going to skill the next generation? What kind of skills that we require to fill the gaps in the job industry? So these are discussions that we usually engage in. And one thing that emerges from all my discussions with government of India and internally as well, that globally there is a shortage of STEM talent. Many of you must be aware of about that as well. There are a couple of reasons that happen, but I think it's very important to take a moment to understand this shortage. There's a huge gap between the demand and supply. The demand for STEM jobs is really high, and the supply is less in faculty as well as professionals. And usually what happens is though students study and but they're not job ready. That means they're graduated, but they're not ready to be, they're not employable yet. So there's a gap in that initial training as well. And that's why something like internships are so important. But I want to take a moment to reflect on this gap here. So globally, we have semiconductors and emerging, well, it's been a technology for long, but the demand for semiconductors has increased. AI has come in, is growing as we speak today as well, and we don't know what AI is going to hold tomorrow. And so as well for other realms of emerging and critical technologies. Now we need a workforce that can supply to this demand, right? Number two, the US right now is seeing a decline in students enrolling for STEM due to other numerous reasons, as well as Asian countries that were once the powerhouse of STEM fields like Taiwan, China, South Korea. They're seeing a declining youth population, which means less students are enrolling in STEM. This makes India so fitting to fill the gap. India can emerge as that powerhouse that can fill the STEM gap, and professionals like you are so pivotal in this conversation. So I want to take a moment to congratulate each one of you who have chosen this for yourself. And there is no better time to pursue a field like this, and which will propel you to the next generation of conversations and technology and jobs. You know, growing up, my dad, he always wanted me to be, like every other Indian parent, he wanted me to be a doctor, an engineer, a doctor, or an engineer. There was nothing else that was there for me. And when that didn't happen, he wanted me to marry a doctor or an engineer. When that failed as well, he followed the same hope on for my brother and my sister. None of us became doctors and engineers. Let me put it that way. But today, I don't want to only say that science and STEM is the rising field, but it is one of those very pivotal fields. So if your parents or have asked you or like pushed you or encouraged you to join these fields, you may feel like you're either out of force or out of choice. I want to tell you that you have made the right decision either ways. And with a little perseverance, you can get there even further. Now your next steps should involve a meaningful internship or joining an institution that adds value to your interest and degree. And before I conclude, I do want to say, be prepared to work hard. Be prepared to work hard. Be prepared to put in long hours. Be prepared to challenge yourself, and be prepared to try new things. I understand that stepping into internships can be daunting, right? It can be scary, but if being brave means doing things despite being scared. So take a chance on yourself and do things you're scared, even at the internships. And I'm going to leave you with one of my most favorite quote, which I always look back and tell myself. It is, he showed the men of courage what courage really was. So wishing you all a lot of courage in your new role and wishing you all a lot of success. And I hope you take the leap of faith and the leap of trying new things each time you get a chance. And you all will be the next generation of talent, and you all will be invaluable resources for India and for the globe tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nazneen, for giving the opening remarks for this amazing topic that we have chosen, which is again the most ignored one, talking about the STEM for the STEM people. So thank you so much for that. It's always good to hear from you. And thank you so much for joining us on a weekend. I know it's an off for you and taking out time with so good tips. So thank you so much for that. And for our audience, let's kickstart with our session. Just a few things I would really like you to keep in mind. First, please be on mute while the workshop is going on, and definitely we are going to take your questions at the end of the session. And at the same time, if you have any questions, you can raise your hands or you can put it in the chat box as well. And again, would like to see more and more eyes on camera, so it would be good, it'll be a good interaction if you guys will open it. So with this, I would like to hand it over to Dr. Asad Sahir Sir. And yeah, sir, so it would be really great if you can first introduce yourself, and thank you so much for joining us on a weekend.
So thanks a lot, Asba and Ms. Nazim, for the very nice introduction and laying this, setting the stage over here. So as a part of introduction, first of all, I owe this session and the opportunity offered to the United States government because I did my PhD from the University of Utah and was funded by the US Department of Energy grant. And also I worked for about 3 years with the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Golden, Colorado. And that was also for a US DOE National Lab. And one of the things that I've observed in my interactions with in the United States is the amazing role that women in STEM have played. My advisor, Professor John Lighty, was also a leading light in the field of combustion. And perhaps that was one of the reasons that working with women in the United States has led me to this question when I came here as an educator, that why we should have more women involved in STEM. That has led to further interactions at my end of leading a Society for Women Engineers chapter at the Indian Institute of Technology, Ropar. And what we have observed with organizations like LedBy, which have worked upon increasing diversity in workforce significantly, and also with the initiatives which the government of India has. Furthermore, if we can reflect upon that, this particular point, the partnership that the US Embassy in New Delhi, the American Center, and the US Department of State has offered to LedBy is of immense value because it helps connect a very high potential group of people with opportunities. And another aspect which comes of importance is that I gave a similar session in 2021, which was around 3 years back. And what I've observed that there were 5 students who came from the sessions and then have subsequently pursued either a STEM PhD or an internship and have achieved greater heights. So that is the motivation of the session today that I have. And I also would like to take the opportunity to thank the audience for being present over here. So as we begin, I'm not using any slides today because I want to have a conversational format. And I know that I have immense restrictions on time because such sessions do tend to become a little bit longer. And I wish that all the participants, 40 plus participants who are here, I help them with their queries and regarding internships, regarding international academic institutions. So just to set the stage over here, please may I know if you can use the raised hand feature, that how many students in this audience are from humanities, so that I do take a time to also cover their interests. So if you could use the raised hand feature. The audience is primarily from science, technology, engineering, and math. Over here. So if I can, if you can just, Shabab, thank you for raising your hand over there. And Shabab, if you can unmute your mic, can you please tell us which field are you from non-STEM? Or you can use the chat box over here.
Yeah, I am from mathematics and computer science.
Sorry, Shabab, the question was that people who are not from STEM, like from humanities, economics,
point.
English.
I'm sorry.
Sorry for not clarifying the question. Anyone, so that my remarks, I believe everybody is from the science, technology, engineering, math, or there's somebody who's doing English literature, so that I can help some of the questions over there. So right now, we are not receiving a response from your end. So let me just continue that currently the National Institution for Transforming India, NITI, and Bharati School of Public Policy are having internships for you also. So the internship calls are on right now, and I'm using the chat box over here to share those links over here, so that if by any chance you are a non-STEM participant, please do look into these opportunities also. Thank you. So coming across this session, the way that this session is structured are of two elements. One is how to approach internships, and the other one is how to approach being admitted into an international academic institution. So when it comes to internships, as Ms. Nazeen pointed out, that internships essentially form the first stepping stone of entering into a career. It can be a career in public policy, it can be a career in humanities, it can be a career in science, technology, engineering, and math. The interesting part about science, technology, engineering, and math is that typically these are associated with high-end scientific infrastructure. And given the interest of the government of India and as well as the US government in new initiatives, which are specifically on artificial intelligence, advanced communication technologies like 5G, semiconductors, biotechnology, an important part of the experience during an undergraduate years is that can I somehow get connected to an institution which may have advanced scientific equipment, which may not be existing at my institution. Furthermore, that can I get that experience in 2 to 3 months, which could help me build my resume as well as get connected further to opportunities. Because just think of opportunities as building blocks, one block building over the other. So if during your undergraduate degree, if you're pursuing an engineering, if you can get that building block very early in the formative years, that you are being introduced into a lab, you are being introduced to an advisor who may be working on an advanced computational method or maybe on modeling a particular system, and you could then possibly access knowledge. One of the things that can help you prepare quite well in these areas is that you could perhaps take the use of an online course. Many organizations today are offering online courses. For example, the government of India uses the NPTEL, there are Coursera courses, there is Udemy, or there is MIT edX, which may be at a charge if you want to take a certificate, or may be available for free. Many organizations have put online material over there. So that is one of the building blocks that perhaps you could take, or you could use the YouTube or a tutorial to build upon knowledge. So that would give you the first basic initial knowledge of developing some skill sets. Often a question which comes up across is that when you are at year one, and how to build your resume. So you could pursue perhaps a certification. That initial certification would be valuable. Another thing which you could possibly approach is your own home university if you're doing your year one of studies, that perhaps assisting a senior student in their project, or use your local university's club to create some sort of a computer program, an app, or even shooting a video, doing science communication, so that you get those initial experiences. Any questions that I would like to cater to if you're beginning your STEM degree and how to create those initial experiences? Please use the chat box to share your thoughts. And then we can move to the year 2, because often we are thinking about that how we can build upon getting that initial experience. So I'm just taking a pause if you want to raise your hand, unmute, and share a question or two.
So participants, it's your free space and you feel free to raise your hand, feel free to ask any question you have so far, because no question is like good or bad. So whatever you feel like, just to feel free to share. And yeah.
So, Hafsa, thank you. I need a little bit more of an elaboration. Please, if you can just share from which university you are and what is happening in your university, it will help me better to answer your question. Because definitely you are in second year and you're preparing for coding tests. So, if you can just unmute your mic, that would be great. We'd love to hear from you.
I'm currently at Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University,
Yes, please.
and at this uh, time in my college, we are receiving companies like Salesforce and Google and Amazon, and they all have these programs for hiring women workforce. Like Amazon has Amazon Wow, and Google has Google Step Intern, and Salesforce has Future Force. So recently, I just cleared the online assessment by Future Force, and next up I have is the interview, and there are two interview rounds. So for the first interview will be the technical round, and if there is like any sort of guidance that you can provide on how to clear this technical round, it would be very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Hafsa. Hafsa, you are at an advantage because since you are in Delhi, so I'll break down the question into two parts. One, Hafsa, I believe that you're talking from the Indira Gandhi University of Women. How's the connect with your alumni who have already graduated? Is part one of the question that I have from my side. And the second part is that have you been able to inculcate a coding club culture informally in the organization, in your university, sorry? Because that is something that you could possibly achieve. The first part is that you can have a coding club. I understand daily everybody, it may be a commuter school where people are entering at 9 o'clock, leaving at 5. So one thing that you could possibly attempt is to have a virtual meetup. So if you can have one of the alumni who is already participating in Google, Salesforce, and so that you can then invite them to a virtual chat like we are having right now, then they will be in a position to help you better prepare for the interview. I don't want to give a cliched answer. Most of you are active on LinkedIn, and there are people who are maybe who might indicate that they would be willing to engage with students. And one thing, Hafsa, is that it takes because these companies are organizing hackathons, and if you're a women in STEM, then and as Ms. Nazim pointed out, that good quality personnel are always needed in organizations. And that is where these companies are proactively organizing hackathons. One word of caution that I would like to have is that these are very competitive, Hafsa. If you are not getting selected in one or two, don't lose heart, because or people from all over the country are participating, and if your efforts are not being acknowledged by that particular company, don't ever think that they will not be acknowledged at all. So this takes a little bit of time. And even at IIT Ropar, when I was the head professional development, for us to build this culture in IIT Ropar, it took us quite a while. And it's a slow process in terms of if you want to do something at the organizational level, we have to have the student body engaged, have a coding club, invite a speaker, but eventually it will happen. I hope that I've been able to answer your question.
Yeah, just this one thing that
Please.
I'm not from the computer science branch. Like I want to pursue a career in software engineering, but I'm from mechanical and automation. So that just provides a bit of a disadvantage from my
No,
side.
Hafsa, I'll tend to disagree with it. Sorry, I'm not letting you complete over there. The point here is you are very much in demand because see how many women in mechanical engineering are there right now. You are one of the rarest people who have a historical opportunity. If you are accessing companies into robotics, huge amount of investment which is happening by Boeing in India. I can name right at the top of my mind here. Then there is work with Tata Automation Limited in robotics. A lot of robotics activity and computer activity, which would be needing an Industry 4.2 initiative. So perhaps what you are chasing, unfortunately, is the computer science industry. Whereas I would suggest that if you can get something mechanical engineering plus automation, and the south and access opportunities in Bangalore and Pune, I believe that you'll have a different perception. Sorry, I had to interject in between because of the message that you were going into, because you're thinking of a disadvantage where you are not. Sorry, please continue, Afsa.
Okay, so can you like a bit expand on those opportunities in Bangalore and the other
So,
places?
Hafsa, I'm an advisor for the Society of Women Engineers. Also, before I began in this call, and that in those meetings, we are continuously hearing that we are not getting enough women who have a blend of mechanical engineering and technology. This is a consistent theme which we are getting, and the issue is that in college campuses, you are all looking at the immediate packages which are being offered by the software industry. I'm from chemical engineering. It takes us because the entry level salaries may not be as competitive in the beginning, but believe me that after a few years, the kind of growth and the acceleration which the companies are giving, especially what we call as the core companies, is phenomenal. And with India's significant investment in the technology sectors, we need it's a historic opportunity at this point in time, in my view, and it's just getting the right connectivity. So you are from Delhi. You can connect to professors in IIT Delhi who are doing work in mechanical engineering and automation. And perhaps after the session, I'll be happy to discuss this a lot more further.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to because the questions are interesting, so I have to just give everyone an opportunity. Manager, please, if you can unmute your mic and then share the question.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, I'm Mehnaz, and I'm a humanities background student. Sir, as
And Manas, in which university and which part of the country?
sir, basically I'm from Kashmir, and I completed my masters in English from Aligarh Muslim University. Sir, as we are discussing that it's like very challenging for a humanities student to get internships like in STEM sector. So it has also been challenging for me because I have been applying in such internships, but I have been constantly getting rejection because they have a very particular criteria for that. So I just want to know like how can I avail those opportunities like those internships?
Thank you, Mahnaz. And since you are an English major and coming from Kashmir, one of the opportunities that you may like to consider is essentially that one thing is that you are thinking about English in terms of Shakespeare, Chaucer, or maybe modern contemporary writers. The other aspect is that if you make your English a little bit more applied, like in terms of business communication, there are a number of business houses which need talented individuals like you who can possibly help with their websites, help with their writing material, help with their advertising material. The field is called business communication. And then if you can make it, if you are willing to go into corporate India and just do that makeover, or for example, you are from Aligarh, could you generate an opportunity within your own university? I'm also from Aligarh, to make the literary club a little bit more active. Because Aligarh has got such a wide alumni base, and there are people who would be more than happy to help you out. Alumni who are spread across the world and who would be willing to give you some opportunity in technical writing. So technical writing, business communication, if you want to enter the world of internships, are two areas that you may like to look at. And the answer is simple. Since we are having a lot of employees, there's a requirement of learning and development professionals and getting that connection. And there are, I would say, numerous people who are working in the area. So one thing that you could also approach is perhaps try to approach some people on LinkedIn who are working in the learning and development space. Anybody who is a technical writer and a business communicator should be able to guide you in a direction that you could land that you can land into an internship. Also, utilize the literary club quite actively in terms of calling speakers, in terms of creating an awareness amongst your own community that how you can have better internships. Like LedBy is fortunate to have a partnership with the US Embassy. The US Embassy has an American Center in New Delhi, which is on Janpath. It's a beautiful library, and they have a space which is called American Spaces, and they are having a lot of conversations on STEM. So why not on a nice weekend just plan a trip from a train, go to the American Center, and initiate those conversations. And I think that they had an event in December also, which was a very nice event where they had connected with the American Center. And then you will see that there is a library over there where you can get numerous resources, and possibly that can lead to conversations that you can get an internship in that area. There's the British Council also, which is just in front of the American Center in New Delhi. So please, if you're an English major attending the session, do not be confined to the walls in your classroom. Just explore Delhi. And I think that you will get
Yeah,
various
thank you, sir.
opportunities.
I will give it a try, definitely. I'll
Thank
give
you.
it a try. Thank
Yeah,
you very
sure.
much.
Ikra, thank you. Now the questions are coming in. So Ikra, please go ahead. Ikra, if you'd like to give a little bit of more context, please. I can read it for you. A lot of domains are there. What we should be, choose, be it web development, machine learning, cloud computing, AI, to build our career on a particular domain. So if you could just help me a little bit from the university you are coming from and from where you're speaking, if it is possible. Otherwise, I'll take the question ahead. And then there's a raised hand also by Hamda. So I'll also take that one. So Ikra, when it comes to these domains, what I have observed in the course of a career with our students also, that there is an area of strength, but machine learning and AI have recently been are featuring into the spectrum, and computer science graduates are continuously learning, earning certifications, and they're aligning with the job market quite a lot. So if you see the LinkedIn profile of any computer science person, then about 5 to 7 years, they are learning, earning certifications, and trying to align their resume move with the project that they are going to pursue. So sometimes you enter into web development, but then you can get something in AI, and then they have got this terminology, and perhaps somebody could help me out with the front end and the back end, and both are having totally different skills. And also, if there's someone who could help me, because I'm not a computer scientist, on the call to help with Ikra's question, that would be great also. Anyone on the call, please, who is a computer scientist, and how they are approaching this aspect. Anyone would like to give a try?
Hamda.
Excuse me?
I
Yeah.
actually, I'm Hamda
Hamda.
here.
Yeah, please.
So I have a background in computer science. So ideally, her question is regarding whether which field she should choose or how should she go about a particular field. I didn't get her question actually.
Okay. Yeah, that was my understanding, because that it is about that which skill sets that the person wants to approach.
So ideally, what happens in computer science field also, even a non-computer science field can enter computer science. So I have seniors who have done biology and MSc biology, but they still managed to enter into analytics in the company.
And
So
Hamda,
what
can
they
you please introduce about yourself? Sorry, from which university you're from
so
and which degree?
I am from a private college in Bangalore. It's called BNMIT. And while working, I've done a quality analyst in a startup, and currently I'm trying to make a switch to AI. So that's what the pattern that I have seen is. They basically do certifications. You have plenty. You can do Coursera certifications, like Sir said. You can you have open source, like you have something called as Girls Summer of Code. So they are very open to taking in girls who are interested in coding. You can just go and apply. And these have, you can either contribute to open source. So open source is basically they have projects and they allow people to make code changes to that, right? And they will guide you. So you also have a practical exposure. So if you are choosing front end, you create a portfolio, like a website of yourself, selling yourself as a front end developer. If you are going for analytics, you use Power BI, you create a portfolio about that I am a Power BI specialist, and then I have done such and such, like 4-5 projects kar lo, and put it on that portfolio. Similarly, front end ke 4-5 projects kar lo, put it on the portfolio. If it's back end, you create your APIs and you tell that this is what I have done. I have used Mongo, or I have used SQL, or I have used, like, I've created this. I've used such and such architecture, like MVC architecture and such. And then you create 4-5 projects.
Biotechnology
That's
students are
more than enough. Like 2-3 certifications, 4-5 projects. Put it in the portfolio and start applying for internships. Anybody will be more than happy to take you in.
Thanks a lot,
I
Hamda,
also
for helping me out over here, and especially you are coming from Bangalore. Can you please share a little bit about your, even you are from a private university? I get a sense of energy and enthusiasm whenever about especially in Bangalore and Hyderabad. I'm from Rupnagar, Punjab, and I'm near Chandigarh. But the energy which I see in that place is simply amazing. Can you share a little bit about that? What is happening?
So here it's more of like Sir said, it's all about like semiconductors, and more focus is being given on semiconductors, 5G, and because that will propel the MLAI. So MLAI completely depends on the semiconductors and the electronics and electrical background folks. So the more they work on these, making them more powerful and more like memory, having more memory and stuff, whatever is required, the more AI ML research can move ahead. So that's what is happening is here in Bangalore. There are also I have noticed it's not just this like core technical. I have seen companies that like they're law companies, and law people from law are also like building up companies, and they're somehow they want to use AI ML tools and technologies in those, in like making sure that the crime rate reduces, and it's some stuff like that. There are places of like, even in like game industries are coming up. Game development is also coming up in Bangalore. So it is a good IT hub right as of now. So
Thank you,
coming
Hamda.
back to that
Because
question, if you're very particular about one particular field, it's best to create your own portfolio. Portfolio sells. Your portfolio speaks for you.
Thanks a lot, Hamda. And coming from this group gives the essentially that how powerful this cohort itself is. Because if you have these interactions between your own cohort, there's a lot of knowledge which is there. Just adding to a point on MSc biology. See, by people who are doing biology, there is a lot of work which is going on in bioinformatics and generating a lot of interpreting the human genome. There's work which is going on in medicine. And these are opportunities where your knowledge, core domain knowledge of biology, learning an open source language like R, and doing statistical analysis can actually be an important game changer in your resume. So, as Hamda mentioned, and these opportunities are all coming up with the new pharmaceutical companies. as well as drug discovery companies. Makbul, you have raised a hand. Do you wish to add something to the discussion here?
Yes, assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to add to what previously was being spoken about, doing cross industry, getting into IT field sector, especially from other
Pardon me,
backgrounds.
Makbul, just a request. Can you please introduce yourself? Maybe you're maybe known to the community, but I'd like to know a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I'm Makbul. I have studied chemical technology from ICT Mumbai. I have a startups background, and as of now, I'm working building a climate tech. And previously, I also set up an AI-based platform. I just want to add for those who are willing to get into other streams like IT, further to having doing any certifications or online courses, and especially if you're located in cities such as Bangalore, you can start with undertaking internships at some startups that are working in that domain, and that will pave the trajectory for you to get into further into the industry. So that is a very lucrative and a very, I would say, an easy way out. Just you can do some courses, certifications, get into an internship at maybe, if not a big company, but startups. And for women, there are Google, etc. Others are providing opportunities for women in STEM to get through it. And from that, you can build your trajectory. I just wanted to add to that.
Makbul, I think I have a question from Wajiha. She's doing masters in chemistry, applying about internships, and you are building a startup in climate tech. If I got it correctly, and you are from ICT Mumbai.
Yes.
How can you help her?
I can't see her question.
So the question is at 11:29. Sorry. And we'll also ask Wajiha to help because you are working, you are from a very entrepreneurial university, which has created a lot of from ICT, which has got a very strong industry academia connect. The question also I have often is that if there are students who are doing particularly masters in chemistry, they only tend to think it as a scientific field. So how could students like her be helped?
Yeah, they can help in the commercialization because a
No, how
lot
can
of
you help like with an emerging startup? Is there how can they access jobs in startups? Let me reframe the question. Thank you.
okay, now there are two things. I am currently based outside India. I'm in Dubai.
Yeah.
So the job market scenario is entirely different in India as well as abroad. Uh, Especially for people who are coming from a chemical background, a chemistry background, the job scenario is again unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. The pay packages are less, but as you rightly mentioned, about the industry academia connect. Here, what master students in chemistry can do is to get into the commercialization phase of R&D, and I think that is where they can have some opportunities unless they decide to go more towards the research field. So the commercial field, the academia and the commercialization phase, the post R&D phase is where they can provide their skill sets.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. I thought that you were based out of India, but you are trying to in Dubai. Being a chemical engineer and studying and being in the field, actually one of the difficulties in with chemistry and chemical engineering particularly is connectivity. For example, Vajia, if you can just give a little bit of background from where are you originally from?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I am originally from Aligarh only, and
Yeah.
here I am from Aligarh Muslim University. I am doing my master's, and I will be starting my second year. So basically, my prime goal is not to enter into a PhD directly without exploring jobs in chemistry field. Like my main goal is not to enter into academia.
Thank you, Vaji. Now, chemistry also comes in different flavors. Are you doing a polymer chemistry? Are you doing industrial chemistry or chemistry itself?
It's mainly chemical sciences only, and under it we are studying all the domains: inorganic, organic, physical, analytical. We are studying all, but physical chemistry is one it is the branch, but the degree we will be getting, it will be of chemical sciences. It is just one extra subject that branch students are studying. Rest, all the core subjects are same, like including analytical and inorganic, organic, and physical.
Okay, but yes, so just adding to a dimension which Maqbool had mentioned, and I wanted also these interactions across the group to happen. One thing, Wajiha, which is happening quite a lot. Sometimes chemistry could be very competitive in terms of the number of students which are there, but you could possibly pursue a PhD today in chemical engineering, sustainable engineering, and if you have a great GATE score. For example, at IIT Ropar, we are looking forward to students who are doing who may have a chemistry master's degree and have a GATE score and or a net score. They can go into chemical engineering, so that makes things a little bit more applied, and then you could then access industry a little bit more better. The second option that you could possibly consider is to do an MBA. You have a nice background in chemistry, and then you could go into sales of chemical-based equipment. Either it can be in the food technology industry, industrial. So you have got your domain knowledge, scientific knowledge, and then you just build up on with an MBA. The third thing is about startups. Now, what answer I was looking forward to Maqbool was that if he has a startup in India and Pune, knows about people and who are coming out of the National Chemical Laboratory or the ICT campus, then can he help them to connect people like you over there? And is there a possibility of having a sub community? But since he is in Dubai and exploring the world over there,
I can elaborate on that, not an issue.
yeah. So please go ahead. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I'll begin in context of ICT. While ICT is known to be quite entrepreneurial, it is more on the front of industries. Startup side, it's very new. In fact, I was one of the founders of the startup cell way back around a decade ago, and now they are trying to keep up. Venture Lab, Venture Lab at NCL in Pune. They have got some good startups coming out of there, but primarily it is IIT Delhi and from Bangalore that a lot of startups are coming out, especially in this field. I'm also associated with another startup in India. It's a food-based startup. We are located in Delhi, and there are certain organizations. I think maybe later on I can send to Asba, and she can share with all of you about different opportunities, especially the new age food startups, as well as the medtech startups that are coming in. So it is in context of these that chemistry graduates or postgraduates can get in, especially if you're from an analytical chemistry or physical chemistry background. You can get into the pharmaceutical industry as well. If you're not interested in pursuing academia further or towards a doctorate, you can get into the pharmaceutical sides, through your analytical and physical chemistry background. And I think this professor it's a very vast thing about the different startups in Pune or Bombay. And I think right now may not be the exact time to elaborate further on it, but I just wanted to give an overview that there are opportunities and but because of the fast pace of the startup culture, and oftentimes they require someone with a background. For example, in a food-based startup, they might need a background for someone who has experience in what you call as designing or creating some new food tastes, etc. Someone from a flavors background, someone or some other startup. So these are very niche, and they build upon a specific criteria. It's not just a general criteria. So that's just a brief overview of it.
Thank you, Maqbool. Essentially, what you require is essentially a session, a 1 hour session where you can dedicate specifically on startups and entrepreneurships. And I think that would be a possible area that LedBy could consider in the future. And Asba has been very kind to consider these areas and share it with the board, and then you could have a dedicated session on the topic only.
One more question I had related to chemistry is that since in India it is difficult right now to land into industrial jobs being from chemistry background. So one of the idea that I had in the back of my mind is that would it be wise to do a second master's from abroad, and that could help me land industrial jobs in abroad? Would it be a wise idea?
Vajia, you're looking from the lens of being at Aligarh Muslim University, which does not have a major chemical industry except for Tata Chemicals nearby. And the perception that you have of the chemical industry sitting in Aligarh may be quite different. That is why I pointed out to Makbul, than sitting in ICT Mumbai, where he's in the hub of industries. A lot of industrial projects are going on. Many companies are knocking at their doors. And if you're doing a second master's, do it at a place which has got good industrial connectivity. Otherwise, you're landing into the same problem. So you have to choose the institution quite carefully, where there are a number of industries nearby, a lot of industrial activities going on, because that does make a difference.
Okay, sir.
We have got a few questions. Because there's a hard stop at about 12:10, and I think we have got four questions over here. Five over. So I will take one by one. Arshama, although you have written it up, but I'll love to hear. We would love to hear what your major concerns are here.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
So I am actually originally from Darjeeling and I've done my graduation in microbiology honors. Currently, I'm pursuing my master's in medical biotechnology. So at the I'm in my first year, but in my second year, we have to do a dissertation. So I am still very unsure about like what topic that I am very much in. Like I haven't been able to narrow down my interest into like what do I want to do my dissertation in, and are there any like resources or workshops that I can access to which could help me brainstorm or narrow down my research interest? And my other question was that like after masters, it's like the environment in my college or is such that like everybody is into getting into PhD. So we know that getting in a PhD degree in India, we have to go through very like competitive exams like NET, and also like the international universities seem more like lucrative in that sense, and also the number of years also, like people say that we can do the PhD from foreign university in like 4 to 3 years, whereas in India it takes more than 5 to 6 years. So so to get international opportunities, we need a very strong CV where we have published papers and things like that. So how should one who's very new in this industry, who's very new in approaching all this, like get into it?
Thank you, Arshima, and for spelling the concern out. The first thing is that you have taken a major step coming from Darjeeling, and then you are moving, rising up the ladder. So don't get worried. The first thing is that don't try to see the profile of a successful person and then say that it's very difficult to reach here. So that is the first mental block that I like to address right from the very beginning. The concern here is that you are, I think, sitting in Ramakrishna Mission Research Institute in West Bengal. How far is IIT Kharagpur from your institute?
Almost a train journey of 3 to 4 hours.
And would you be able to easily do it?
Not very easily, but if I would get an internship opportunity, I'd definitely put in effort to make it.
Now the question, now you're asking for the end product right away. I'll take a step back over here. Why not you attend a workshop at IIT Kharagpur, or what they call, there are some initiatives like there are Gyan courses. There are courses like Karyashalas, which will help you get access to the institution first. Because you're in Calcutta and in this which has got a very strong institution where there's a lot of activity which is happening in terms of biotechnology, biochemical engineering. But when you send an application through, then already perhaps when you're in the vicinity of an institution, then you may have some opportunities of knowing the institution better by attending these workshops, interacting with the research scholars, interacting with the professors, and trying to understand and clarify some of the research aims. What you are seeing right now is that are there any resources, workshops that I can access to help students? Definitely there are. And since you are in biology, there is a very strong initiative by the India Bioscience Network. And they have a wonderful website, and I'll just search that and share it in the chat box with you. Over there. So there is the European Molecular Biology Organization, which understands this gap very well and is trying to bridge that gap. And there are a lot of initiatives by the Department of Biotechnology, which are actively over there. And if you can go through the newsletter, I think that your perception would be changed quite drastically. Then the second part is pursuing PhD. One has to go through very competitive examination. Arshima, whether it is in India or whether it's in abroad, the timeline, especially in the United States, to the best of my knowledge, even in molecular biology, is taking 5 to 7 years. So that is there are long timelines over there with regards to, because when you're doing fundamental sciences, because all the easy problems have been solved, to develop the problem, you need infrastructure, you need a lot of insight. So it is a lot of hard work to do a PhD, especially when it comes to fundamental sciences. The typical average is, I think, 5 to 6 years, and then it's followed by a postdoc. So now you have to go through a very competitive examination like the NET. Yes, I do agree with it. And sometimes what happens is that when you are working in these fundamental sciences, actually there are a number of colleges which are there, but then the opportunities are less. And that is where my thought process was that sometimes just looking at parallel opportunities, maybe in biomedical engineering or chemical engineering, if there's somebody who is working in biophysics, biotechnology, maybe an easier route for you. And if you have got NET, or even if you have GATE for that matter, sometimes even if you are GATE qualified, it's enough for chemical engineering or biochemical engineering. And I'm aware that there are certain fields right now in IITs where they're looking for talented students. So even if you send an application to any of these departments, which may not be in your home department, perhaps you can get that acceleration, which you may be finding difficult just owing to this supply demand issue. Hope I've answered both of your questions, Ashima.
Yes, so that was very insightful. I'll look into these courses and the things that you mentioned. Thank you very much.
And I'll just share the India Bioscience letter. So the next question, please. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the next question. Yeah, if you can just spell that out while I'm just using my.
Okay, so sir, we have a question from Mantasha, who is a student of Jamia Hamdard, Delhi. I am a second year student doing a BSc Biotech and wish to do a summer internship. How should I grab the opportunity?
Thank you so much, Azwa, for helping me up over here, because I just sent in the group chat. I believe you may have received, Arshama, that link for India Bioscience.
Yes, I received it. Thank you so much.
Please have a look, and then we can discuss that further. So, Mantasha, you're a second year a student doing BSc Biotechnology. Summer internships in biotechnology, because there are biosciences departments in many of the IITs. The applications typically come in February. So February to April, you will, and if you're on LinkedIn and just see, there are numerous internships that are coming across in many of the IITs. That would help you if you apply over there. What possibly also could help in this case is that you just approach, you just accomplish a project in Jamia Hamdard, maybe a course project. Do it with sincerity and rigor. If you're able to use bioinformatics, develop those basic skill sets. If you are using wet lab experiments, go into a wet lab. Furthermore, you can also use your alumni and invite them over, because there are many biotechnological institutions, to the best of my knowledge, like PUSA is there, Indian Agriculture, IARI is there, the Indian Agricultural Research Institute in biotechnology. Then there is AIMS also, which is there in New Delhi, which does have a biotechnology concentration. But in order to bridge those conversations, you need to do a lot of background work in your home institution. And since you're in Jamia Hamdard, why not you approach the Hamdard company itself if they are offering some internships to you? Mantasha, if you're on the call, you may ask for some follow-up questions here. So I wish to take the next question over here now. Uzma and Azra, you have raised your hands. Sorry. So is there anything that before we move further? Because I've got a few questions.
No, sir, I have a question to ask.
Okay, Azra, go ahead, please.
So I have completed my master's in food science and technology, and currently I'm working as a research associate at one of the food startups. So
Yes.
Further, I want to join institutes such as IIT or ICT or CFTRI as a project associate at a bound period. And at the same time, I don't want to go for the PhD. So I wanted to ask, do this university offer such kind of opportunities? And if they do, then what, I mean, how can I grab these opportunities? What would be the procedure for it?
Yeah, Azra, what is happening right now is that many professors who are active in the area connect them on LinkedIn, because these project associate opportunities, they are advertising quite a lot on LinkedIn. Every project opportunity has to be uploaded on the website, institute website. But what happens is that these links are embedded somewhere. So the moment you start connecting with, say, 15, 20 professors in the field, the moment they will have a project associate opportunity, most of them are now floating on LinkedIn. And then once you are connected, then you can get it over no time. And so you can connect with professors who are working in the area of food technology. You could connect with people in sustainability, chemical engineering, those are who are in the area. And sometimes what happens is that you may not get directly in food, but in an allied area like water. And people are looking for talented people like you. And that the search is quite high. And it all boils down to Ms. Nazneen's statement that there is a need for STEM engagement. But the question is that how do we connect talent with opportunity?
Okay, sir. So suppose if I get connected with them, so should I ask them directly whether I can join them, or what would be the procedure?
Sometimes you can send in your LinkedIn message itself that I'm looking for research and associate opportunities. Are there any upcoming projects in your cover email, or otherwise just stay for some time, 2 to 3 months, 4 months. Either you would be there would be a person who would be liking a food technology post. You would come to know, but you have to be in the region of influence or the sphere of influence, if I may say.
Professor Asad, can I add to your point?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so also it does happen that often these professors, they're too lazy. They may not actually put in. And in that case, what you can do is you can go through the topics that they're working in, what are their field of interest. And if there's anything that is in consonance with what you have done or what is of your interest, using that, you can write to them. So if sometimes even create, if there is a need or if they find that you are suitable for what they are doing, they might even create an opportunity for you. So that is, I mean, that is how it works a lot of time in the chemical industry, in the chemical academia, especially, that they prefer to hire someone or get someone on board whose interests align with what work they are doing. So that I would suggest would be one of the best approach that you can take. Go through each of these professors at whichever institute you want to work at, and go through the current research that they are doing, their interest, and write to them accordingly.
So Azra, now you have got another perspective from here.
Yes, I got it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Makbul. Thank you, Professor.
Azra, just a request, because once you start sending emails, people may not respond, because one thing is the laziness that Makbul has pointed out, but there could be other genuine reasons also, because these professors are going through 50 or 70 emails of this nature in a week, because somebody is asking for a postdoc, somebody is asking for an internship. So therefore, the conversation sometimes gets lost.
Okay.
So that is the other side of the story also. So that is where sometimes you have to use both approaches, because one question is there that the professor, I'm sending emails and the professor doesn't respond at all. The first thing is that typically in my case, what happens is if I'm able to respond to them, I'll respond, or I'll just put into one of the folders internship resumes, and when an opportunity comes, then I'll be able to then I'm able to send an email back to them, because it's very difficult to respond to so many emails. So please understand the other side of the story as well.
Okay, sir.
Absolutely, you're right, Professor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then there was Hemi's question. Please, Hemi.
Sir, good morning.
Can you please can you please speak a little bit loudly and check your microphone connection, please?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, please. And please introduce yourself.
Sir, my name is Hemi Misong. I did my master's from Central University of Punjab. I completed it. Right now, I'm struggling with the internships and all because wherever, like, whichever website I go, the eligibility criteria is like, but they give to the pursuing one. And I'm very much confused. Where should I apply or where should I go further? Like, right now, I'm not into doing the PhD. I'm interested in the laboratory works and all. Can you please guide me? How should I proceed further?
Thank you, Hemi. When you're talking of Central University of Punjab, I believe that's in Bhatinda.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hemi, now you are from my home state. We are in Ropar. I would recommend that please send your resume to me. And if there is something that I can help you over here, I would like to have a look at the credentials because I may be aware of certain opportunities where we are looking for people, and then we can have a detailed discussion on that. So anybody who is from the Punjab, Chandigarh region, we are in the local vicinity. And one thing that that is also the purpose of this session is that sometimes we feel that we should do a better job in connecting with aspirant students, and organizations led by really help us quite a lot on that. So, Hemi, I like to take that a little bit more further because this is something, and if you're in Delhi NCR, that is a good region itself, but still we are near, so we could definitely get to know a lot more better. Because what we are noticing is that there is that the skills are there, but the connectivity is lacking.
Thank you, sir.
So, SN, you have a question over here on PhD in neuroscience, and I believe that there is one question. Okay, Ananta has replied the question. So, is there any last questions that somebody has? Uzma Ghazala, because we have a hard stop at 12:10. If Asba, that's my understanding. So we'll do this quickly. So I'm doing a PhD in neuroscience sleeve at NIMHANS, Bangalore. That's wonderful. I'm interested to learn R and Python for my PhD work analysis. There are a number of resources which are available to learn R and Python. Hafsa is there from computer science, and also one of the speakers, I just lost track of the name, who gave a lot of detailed advice on the topic. If you can just use your internal WhatsApp groups of which you are a part of, you could get some resources on R and Python. So, SN, that is a question. I had to take it very quickly. Azra, I've completed master's in food science technology and completing as a research associate, IIT. Yes, when it comes to masters in food science and technology, we definitely are also offering opportunities in food and water. We are a part of the Agriculture and Water Development Hub at IIT Ropar, and we are also offering opportunities like entrepreneurship and residence, etc. So feel free to get in touch on that through LinkedIn. Okay. So thank you, Safuranaz, for the question. So, Wasim, then you're talking of pursuing a BTech in mechanical engineering. What are the things I have to get to focus to get in internships at IIT? See, IIT's internships, I would say, let us put it not only to IITs, but let us generalize this to any other reputed academic research institution. The first thing is that, Wasim, take every opportunity to learn your fundamentals well. Try to be active in projects which are being pursued in your academic clubs, learning a new language in computer science, or trying to improve upon any class project that you get. Other thing is that try to maintain a nice alumni connect, because internship in IIT is like for IIT Hyderabad, they get 100 applications and they are only able to select one. In my department, fortunately, the ratio is not too bad. Out of 10, we were able to select one. But the internship in IITs, it is a competitive call. So therefore, one thing that I wanted to make a call also by knowing that the amount of opportunity that we have, especially in hydrogen, what we are doing in the past year. In IIT Ropar, we launched the Energy Inventors program, where we had floated virtual internship projects where students participated. And this year we are doing on hydrogen. So we understand we cannot have each and every person on campus, but definitely we can connect virtually. So Wasim, we will be floating a similar competition this year also. So please feel free to connect on LinkedIn, as well as we'll make these announcements also through LedBy channels. And our advertisement will also come up, especially if you're working in the area of hydrogen and energy. Ghazala and Uzma, I think that the time is for you if you raise your hands. And these are the last two questions that I'll be taking today.
Yeah. Hello, sir. My name is Uzma. I'm from Hyderabad. So, I have done my engineering in electronics and communication. After that, I have joined an internship where I have worked on academic projects. So right now, my interest is on joining the IITs and NITs for any internship. And also, I'm particularly interested in the VLSI semiconductor industry. So, my question is that, how to go further in my career? Shall I join or any institute or do masters from here or abroad? So, my
So,
question.
Uzma, this is a very specific question. So I'll have to break down in a few parts. You have completed your degree, or you are in the process of
Yeah,
completing?
I have completed, sir. My is B. Yeah.
Oh, you have completed a BE. So
Yeah.
another question which was coming on the side of which was being discussed earlier in terms of chemistry. So there are some positions which are called as junior research fellowships, JRFs, or a project associateship. Again, they are being floated because since the National Semiconductor Mission is now in full swing, so the professors who are looking for projects in the National Semiconductor Mission, they had recently had a conference in Chandigarh. I think it was in March. And there are some professors who are looking for, because the need is that the market is so large in semiconductors and there is a skill gap. Because how can you quickly bring so many people on stream? So that is an area that you can look into. The other one is that use Coursera or to do semiconductor related courses. Maybe it is related to semiconductor processing. Third is that use the Society of Women Engineers Network, and they are having they had the recent conference in April in Bangalore, but they are also looking forward to have a similar conference very soon. And there will be some talks on semiconductors that I'm aware of. The fourth is that there's a lot of activity which is going on in Taiwan and Singapore, particularly, and their universities are looking for people who have semiconductor experience. So sometimes what happens is that if you miss the deadlines for GATE and admission deadlines, please look into those universities and you can get a start from there, particularly Taiwan.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Ghazala, the last question is yours.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. I
Afternoon.
want to ask, I am from Noida and I am just completed my graduation in next 1 month. I am from BSc Statistics Honors from Delhi University. I want to go with specialization in statistics like biostatistics, financial statistics, but I don't get any colleges in India like offer specialized in statistics.
Ghazala, are you just only typing the word statistics by any chance and looking for
Oh,
programs?
okay, sir.
No, I'm just asking a question to you.
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat?
Are you only typing statistics and finding the courses?
No, sir.
So
Actually, I already done bachelor's in statistics honors, but I want to specialize in statistics like biostatistics, financial statistics, actuarial statistics. So I want
thank
to
you.
ask,
Ghazala, just one change, just substitute statistics with data science, and you'll see a world, the world of difference.
sir, actually, I am also doing a upgrade course, data science plus artificial intelligence. But so I think
See,
the knowledge of
if you're doing conventional statistics, then you have to go to the Indian Statistical Institute, ISI in Kolkata. I think that's also in Delhi.
so I already prepare for ISI, but I don't.
But it's a very competitive examination,
Yes, sir.
and the best out of the best will go there, and
Yes, sir.
it's a very steep competition. Completely agree, Ghazala. But one thing is that, like in IIT Ropar, we have having a joint degree program with the Indian Institute of Management Amritsar and IIT Ropar, and we are offering an MSc Statistics, MSc in Data Science. And our
MSc.
students, yes, it's an MSc program, but the placement rates are high, and it's one of the most, we launched it last year, and this is a program that we are really actively looking forward to. So please consider applying for a program like this and to other programs. And I think that you will find, and if you get that connectivity, all your questions will be answered in terms of
Sir, I
actuarial
want to,
statistics and biostatistics. But the point is that you'll have to just think that what the flavor of the season is. And Ghazala, although statistics looks a little bit on the surface, quite in a classical field, but if you change your view and interpretation in terms of that how much work is going on in artificial intelligence and machine learning, especially machine learning, sorry, and industrial data science, I think you are at the right time of history, and that is why you need to identify, connect with the opportunity.
sir, I also want to ask one thing.
Yes,
Like
please go ahead.
I apply for CMI also, entrance exam.
Sorry, when you're talking of CMI, it's in Madras, the Mathematical
Yes, sir.
Institute. Yeah.
M- Madras University, like they offered masters in data science.
Yeah.
On AMU also offer masters in data science, but I'm confused. Like, where should I go? Is it better or is this better? Like,
Ghazala, simple rule of thumb, if you're going for actuarial financial statistics, go near a financial market. So you get the answer that it's in Bombay. Because
it's Bombay.
they people will be discussing more towards finances, actuaries. So you have to go near the industry.
But sir,
And
actually, I am not
or
from commerce
Ahmedabad.
background.
Or Ahmedabad for that matter, where there is high industrial activity, where there is Madras, Bangalore. If you're getting anything in data science, just jump over it. Because see, the universities are good, but how good is the connectivity with interface with the industries matters. Like in the case of IIT Ropar, I could say that although we are away from industrial hub, but because we are having very strong placements from our engineering side, they feed into data science. So we already have an ecosystem. And that is where wherever you're getting an opportunity, it doesn't matter, just take an opportunity is rule number one. The rule number two is, if you have multiple options to work with it, then you can think in terms of that where I could get employment easily. Not to say that Aligarh Muslim University doesn't give an opportunity, because if it didn't, then how would I be here today?
Okay, sir.
So please let us get into the right context. I'm just talking of that if you have, but if you want to relate to a particular field, then perhaps sometimes strategically placing yourself would help.
Okay, sir.
So I think that Asbab, we have completed most of the questions. There's nothing on the chat box, no hands raised. So and we are doing, I would say, sorry for taking 5 minutes over.
No, sir, absolutely okay. And thank you so much, everyone, for putting forward such a brilliant question. It shows like how conscious you are about your career, about your field. So thank you so much for being the most active crowd I have ever seen. And I hope that this session, this AMA actually helped you in multiple ways. And we are going to publish this video on the YouTube as well. So you can refer to the video whenever you want. And thank you so much, Asad sir, as well, for taking out time on a weekend. I know you have the jam-packed schedule, but you always go above and beyond for LedBy. Thank you so much for being a part of our community and our allies. And to our audience, thank you so much for joining in on weekend and working for your own professional development. And that's a big deal that you are working for yourself. And at the same time, do follow us on different social media platforms, and we will be definitely bringing in with some more sessions, some more events within your cities, online and offline, and would love to see this community growing. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And with this, we are closing with this session. So in case you have any feedback, any doubts, feel free to drop us a DM over our Instagram channel or over our social media platforms. We are very active and would really love to hear from the community. So with this, we are ending up with our session. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Asba. Thanks a lot, LedBy, and most importantly, the audience with some great questions. I did share my LinkedIn address over here just to be in touch, because we cannot do justice to everybody in a 1 hour session. There may be some follow-up questions. So please feel free to connect on. Thank you so much. And have a wonderful day ahead.